How come I never use this advice on myself? My mom used to have to send me new shades of makeup. Everyone judges. I am so sick of talking about the show. Heartbreak was insane. Holy shit, the shit that I get on Instagram. Such a complicated name. We are not dolls that we have to be a certain way for the rest of our lives. Hello and welcome to the Damsel in Distress podcast by me, Akashlina Chandra. So yeah, let's get started with this. This is gonna be like an introduction episode where I tell you guys what Damsel in Distress podcast is gonna be all about. But before that, I want to quickly jump into why I have decided to start this podcast and what was the inspiration behind the naming of the podcast. So a lot of my friends and family who have heard about the name have asked me why did you choose such a complicated name? And I was just like, it's really not a complicated name, because I don't know, maybe personally I've just heard this phrase since I was 4 or 5 years old, and it always struck me what is this damsel in distress? But now that I know what it's like to be a damsel in distress, I just thought it would be the most appropriate name for this podcast, because on this podcast I just want to talk about how a damsel doesn't need to be in distress and doesn't need a hero or whoever come save the damsel. We can always be the ones to save ourselves and figure out our own shit by, getting to know other people's experiences, watching other people, seeing and learning, hearing and learning. We can just do it by ourselves. We can conquer the world, guys. But yeah, of course, you can always depend on professional helpers. You can always depend on professionally trained coaches, life coaches. What I mean to say is, we don't need a hero to come sweep us off our feet and save us and take us on a fucking mattress. We don't need that. I want to tell you guys why I wanted to start this podcast. Recently, especially this year, the first half of this year, I have gone through so much change as a human being. So in this podcast, I just want to share my daily experiences, my day-to-day incidents in life, the things I have to face as a young single girl, how I deal with everything and how I sometimes can't deal with everything, and how that is okay. It's okay to not be able to deal with certain things at certain point of time. If you guys know me since 2018 or 19, you guys know how chaotic and unhinged I am. I'm not saying I'm not that person anymore. I am, but if needed, I'm not like that in general anymore, because whatever's happened in my recent past has just forced me and pushed me to become a calm, sensible, patient person. And honestly, I don't even know if it's all the patience and the tolerance that I've developed, but it can also be the fact that I just don't have the energy to deal with things that don't deserve to be dealt with, that don't deserve my energy. A lot of shit was going on in my life, and just something that I've never experienced. Maybe mentally I hit a different level of low, which I had to really get out of by myself. I wouldn't say that I did not have support. My family has been the most supportive ever. I've had friends, but that area of my life has also been a little bit of struggle, which is why so many things were happening. It was just a huge mess, but a low-key mess, because I kept it very low-key and I dealt with everything my own way. I really don't talk about my personal life that openly anymore on my social media, so a lot of people don't know a lot of things. So I'll just give you the basic introduction. I'm Bengali. I'm 24 years old. I'm originally from Kolkata, West Bengal. I moved to Bombay 3 years ago. It's gonna be 3 years this November. So I moved 2021 November. I've been living alone away from family for the last 3 years. Of course, I keep visiting home I need a little bit of home every 2 months because I can't like function without my pets, my 2 dogs and 3 cats. So I keep going home to like, just get like that little boost, that little recharge. So after moving to Bombay, I really realized that it's not an easy task to just like move, dream big, move to Bombay, like everything's gonna be stars and glam and all. It's really not like that. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of struggle. As some of you know, I did a reality show, and that was in 2022 September. So right after moving to Bombay, a few months into Bombay, I went for the show. I don't want to talk about the show right now in this episode, but yeah, like we will talk a little bit about like reality shows and stuff like that. A little bit, like we'll cover with the right guests in the upcoming episodes, because bro, like I am so sick of like talking about the show which happened 2 years ago, and I have a lot of respect for the show and for the makers and all shows actually. Like so much work goes behind creating a successful reality show. But it's just that I know it's always gonna be a part of me, but that's just not my full identity. It's not my daily life. So yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about shows and how they work and how it feels to be a contestant on such shows. And ever since, like, life has been very different. Every day life is changing, every day new things are happening. Some are good, some are bad, some are necessary, some are very unnecessary. So yeah, that is a little bit about myself. I'm a very straightforward person. I talk about things exactly how I feel about them. Like whatever's in my mind is in my mouth. I don't put a lot of filter on what I say. Also on my pictures, which I get all the time, like I'm always accused of, what did you do to your skin? Oh my god, we're gonna talk about so much stuff, guys. Like, holy shit, the shit that I get on Instagram about my skin is crazy. Please, I just want to say this, like, there's something called sunburn, there's something called tanning, and my skin tans like crazy. My skin cannot take the sun. When I was doing the show, we were under the sun like for hours, okay? No chhata also. Like my mom used to have to send me new shades of makeup like every 2 week, like every 1 week. Like I would just be like, holy shit, like, and the host would come up to me and be like, your shade is not matching anymore. Also the lighting was so insanely bad that it did not help with the already like changing skin tone. But I love my skin in all its versions, and that is also something that I want to cover in an episode, talking about how to accept yourself the way you are. My skin changes a lot. Like I said, I get tanned, I get detanned. Detanning takes like such a long time for me, but it happens. Like if I really like maintain a routine, I don't have a problem with changing, evolving, and just facing very normal human being things. Like we are human beings, we are not dolls that we have to be a certain way for the rest of our lives. It's not possible. Aging is also a very undeniable and something which you can't really escape. And also just being kind to people who you are seeing changing or evolving or just going through something which any human being can go through, which is not abnormal. Please just learn to like be kind to them, because you can also go through that tomorrow, any day. You can, God knows what all you can also go through. So before judging people, we should really think about ourselves, because what are we judging them on the basis of? We're judging them on the basis of whatever's happening to them and what they are doing about it, or whatever, they're just like their life choices and all of that. So we really need to put ourselves in their shoes, or whoever we're judging. See, like we all judge people, we all judge incidents, we all judge situations, but before passing our judgment, we need to put ourselves in that situation and think like, what would we do if we were in that person's shoes or whatever. Everyone judges, which is fine, but like I said, a little more awareness needs to go into judging people as well. So I want to tell you guys how this will work. Some of my episodes will have guests and some of my episodes will not have guests. Every episode I want to cover one topic which I feel needs to be talked about a little openly, where I feel like I'm connecting with you guys, and you guys, when you watch and hear the episode, you feel like connected and you feel like, yeah, we can relate. It's more like a virtual conversation with you guys where I can't hear what you guys are saying, but you can always comment and write down your own experiences, share your experiences, ask me questions if you want. You can always reach out to me on my Instagram if you want me to cover certain things, if you want me to talk about certain things on my episodes. You can always let me know. I'm gonna have some very interesting guests who will share a lot of informative things and also their own experiences. We're going to talk about a lot of things in the first season, like spirituality. We're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about friendships. We're going to talk about family, and we're going to cover the healthy parts of all of this and also the toxic parts of all of this. We're going to share certain experiences. When I have guests, obviously, like, I will want to know about their experiences and how they dealt with certain things. We're going to get into that with the upcoming episodes. And then we're going to talk about mental health a lot here. We're going to talk about everyday things that happen to us. A lot of times we don't have anybody to talk to about like the problems that we're facing. Not all of us are privileged enough to have the kind of people in our lives that we really need in order to feel heard or seen or understood. So yeah, I just want this to be a platform where you guys feel like you are learning something, or you feel like either you feel like you're learning something, or you feel like, you know, you're not alone. Maybe you can feel the same, and you know, like, you can always reach out to me and talk to me about it. You can always ask me questions. You can always ask me for advice. I will give you my 2 cents if I think I am, you know, somebody who has experienced what you are going through. And let me just, like, you know, put like this disclaimer out before like people come at me or whatever. I am not an expert. I am not like a professional. So please, if the situation is bad, I always recommend, and I really push people to go and seek for professional help. Always go to your elders with your problems if it's serious. Don't depend on social media or like, you know, people that you actually don't know in real life. If your situation's too bad, always go for professional help. Because I have myself, like, I've taken my mental health very seriously recently, and I have gone for professional help on 1st January 2024. It's been my New Year resolution to, like, you know, give mental health a more serious approach this year, because I was neglecting it a lot, thinking that it's okay, I'll deal with it. Sometimes you develop like bad coping mechanisms without even realizing, and then it becomes a pattern. Like, I think late December, I just did not know like how I was feeling. Like, was I sad? Was I angry? I just could not figure it out. So I was like, you know what? I need to get to understand the science behind what is happening to me. So I went to a psychiatrist and I was like, please tell me what I need to do to like figure out. And I'm a person who analyzes things a lot, and it's not overthinking. I just like to analyze as a hobby. And the last 6 months have just been, you know, me trying to become a better version of myself. I went through so much shit, guys. Like, the heartbreak was insane. I was so heartbroken. And no, it's not just like about a relationship or a guy or whatever. It was a lot of things in life, you know, like, I feel like I was not in love with myself for the first time in my life. And I didn't know why. Like, I just could not like love myself or feel my best self. I knew that it's not because of boy problems or relationship problems or a heartbreak, which is why I was so confused in my head that I had to go to a professional and, you know, understand. We are going to talk about those experiences on this podcast. And also, you guys ask me, like, you know, how to be confident, how to like believe in yourself and stuff like that. which is not like a piece of cake. It's really not. When you really like are striving to find that confidence, to find that self belief and inspiration, you need to do a lot of inner work, which I think I'm still doing. I'm in the process. But yeah, this year has really been about figuring out what I want in life and what I don't want in life. First, I had to figure out what I don't want in life in order for me to understand what I want and what I deserve in my life in terms of friendships, relationships, work. I just wanted to introduce a damsel in distress in this episode. Please take this podcast as a podcast and not like an interview, because it's not an interview. A podcast is where people have conversations, they put forward their own opinions individually, and it's just more like a virtual sitting down and talking on your couch kind of podcast for me. My podcast is about that. It's not just about like me asking people questions and asking my guests like, let's have a Q&A. I'm going to ask you the questions and you're going to give me the answers. It's not going to be like that. We're going to talk about things very openly here. And if anybody has a problem with that, please don't watch it. If you don't understand the difference between a podcast and an interview, please don't watch this, because this is a podcast. It's not gonna be an interview. And please take everything a little lightly. It's not that serious. I'm just trying to have a chill, nice little girly time. I don't talk a lot about my personal life, but in this podcast, you best believe I'm exposing myself. It's not just like entertaining, but it's also so helpful to other people, because I always give my friends and my family advice, like big sis advice, and then I think about it and I'm like, how come I never use this advice on myself, and it's just so funny. I keep giving everyone advice and they come to me also for advice. I don't know why you guys, like why people ask me, but actually, you know what, it works. Okay, I give some good advice, but I don't know why I can't do that when it comes to myself. So this podcast is also going to be a way for me to be able to implement that into my own life. It's so funny to just like talk about this, because it's really funny. I've been wanting to do this podcast for a while and I'm so excited for this, so happy that it's finally starting. So fingers crossed. I hope you guys like what I bring here, like who I bring here, and just in general love watching and hearing everything that we are trying to do here. So yeah, see you guys in the next episode, where we're going to talk about some interesting. You guys will have to stay tuned for that. And of course, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm going to say this now. Click on the little bell button for notifications. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Subscribe, please. Love you. Bye.